So today we have Frank. Frank, you're going to talk to us about Amazon SageMaker Feature Store. That's such a cool service. Amazon SageMaker is one of our machine learning services, does wonderful things for our customers to help simplify the machine learning process for their workloads, to help train models, and also get more information out of their data. Can you tell us more about Feature Store today?
Sure, happy to be here. Yeah, SageMaker's got a lot of great about training, inference, notebooks, feature the data side of things. And the reason challenges are a key stumbling block for data scientists to put their machine learning into production. So we've all heard about, the challenge like building models for image recognition, natural language processing, and that's all. But what's also important, data. How do you manage featured organization that has potentially dozens? So that's what Feature Store is about, to store, to share, and to manage.
And it sounds like, Frank, maybe there's a little bit of audio jitter on your end. Do me a favor and just maybe leave the studio and come right back, and then maybe that'll help a little bit. And for everyone who's here, don't forget we do have a survey, and the first 50 respondents are going to get a $10 AWS credit. So we'll drop that link in the chat for each of you while Frank is leaving and coming right back to hopefully fix those audio issues. And we do see your questions. Yeah, I heard static too. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. Thank you so much for calling that out for everyone. Yeah, sound is at 0.75% speed. Oh man, it's amazing to see and hear all the feedback from everyone. So thank you for letting us know. And hello, everyone. So hello, tell us where you're from. I'm from Frisco, Texas, and Seema, where are you from? I actually don't even know.
Oh, I am from New Delhi, India.
New Delhi. What time is it in New Delhi? It's 2:30 in Frisco, Texas for me.
Oh, it's a lovely time. It's just 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. Oh, middle of the night for you. Let us know what time it is where you're joining us from today. Really interested to hear from you. In the meantime, Frank is going to walk us through Feature Store. It's one of the new features. Well, it's been around for a couple of years. So Feature Store was first launched at reInvent 2020, and that made it a lot easier for customers to discover, manage, and even monitor their machine learning features, including certain things like metadata and search or discover, and the ability to add new features to feature groups or manage. And then new operational metrics and to help monitor. So there's a couple more things here, like one or more key messages that we really want to get across to you, such as data challenges and how those data challenges are a key stumbling block for customers. Now, Frank's back. Welcome back, Frank. Really great to see you back here. So we were just introducing Amazon SageMaker and Feature Store and how it came out in 2020. But you're here to tell us about the new features of Feature Store. Features about Feature Store. What are those?
Right. Yeah. Thanks. Can you hear me now? How's my
I
audio?
can. It's you know
Okay.
what? It's good to me, but we got some feedback. That one person said sounds like your audio is 0.75x speed.
Oh,
Everyone else, let us know in the chat. Is Frank's audio better? Is it thumbs up if it's better?
yeah.
But
It could be
sounds good.
because I talk slowly. I don't know.
Mike,
That's why I was thinking about
Mike
0.75.
sounds better. On fire now. All right, cool. Sounds fine.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the feedback, everyone. Frank, welcome back.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. So yeah, you mentioned that this product launched at reInvent in 2020. It's been out there for a while. I wanted to mention what a couple of our customers are using Feature Store for. And one great example is Fidelity. And Fidelity is a partner who actually launched with us at reInvent, and they're using Feature Store for their call center customer experience. So they run models like sentiment analysis, next best action, for customers who are calling into their call center. And another good example is a global transportation company that uses Feature Store for their travel ready center. So this includes things like COVID documents, which varies by country, as well as personalization at check-in. And one other that I'd like to mention is a European-based retailer that uses SageMaker Feature Store as part of their fraud detection for payments. So you can imagine that this is a case in which low latency is super important because the Feature Store is actually in the transaction path. So that means that latency must be very low and throughput must be very high, because this is an example of a customer that has hundreds of thousands of customers. You know.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And I understand there might be some new capabilities and features added to Feature Store. So what might be some of those new capabilities that have been recently added?
Right. Yes. So there's three new ones that I wanted to mention. And we're very excited about these because they're like really key additions to the Feature Store capability. So one is in the area of feature metadata and search. So it's about discoverability and reuse of features. And the way that we achieve that is we've added metadata to features at the feature level, which allows data scientists and data engineers to search at a more granular level for data for features that are relevant to them. In the past, we've had search type capability more at the group level, like groups of features, but Feature Store currently is now supporting, after this new launch, search at the feature level. And the value here is that it helps data scientists learn what features are available in their organization and to get access to them directly, right? So they don't need to like go to the water cooler or Slack their colleagues to find out things. In fact, we
But
have
I
a
like
media,
water cooler talk, Frank, and I like slacking my
right?
emoji, my friends, random
Right.
emojis all over the place. You mean I don't
Well,
have to do this by using Feature Store now?
well, yeah. I actually just went to the coffee room here in the office, and I was the only one there, so I didn't have anybody to talk to.
Okay.
But the reason this is important is that organizations are large, so different lines of business want to use features, but they don't want to reinvent them. They want to discover what's there so that they can reuse them. So
Ah, so
that's
that's
one
the
of the
main importance of
capabilities.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
So the second area is in the area of feature management. So although a feature store, you hear the word store and you think it's a repository, it's actually a platform that supports management of features. So we've introduced the ability to change the schema, change the format of feature groups, and in order to add new features to them. So this can save a data scientist from creating new feature groups, new groups of features, and all the pipelines associated with that, if they want something that's sort of similar, right? So often machine learning models can evolve over time. You want to add new features to them because you think something new that come along, new data you have, which is predictive. Or it could be that different lines of business need features that are slightly different, right? So we've introduced this ability to add more features within a feature group. And then the third thing very quickly is around monitoring. So a key thing around feature stores is the ability to monitor. So we've added additional monitoring metrics, including things like number of API requests, number of errors, if your requests have been throttled, latencies around the service actually operating on the features, right? So those are all logged to Amazon CloudWatch. So folks may have heard of Amazon CloudWatch. It's really great AWS capability. You can create custom dashboards with that. Do reporting, set alarms, respond, take actions based on those alarms. So I guess the general value in this operational area is it gives you a unified view of the feature store, so you can keep track of operational health and make sure your applications, your machine learning applications, are running smoothly.
That's really cool. And we have the audience here. They're asking questions, and one stands out to me. Let's go ahead and bring that up on the screen here. Can you show a demo for us? Do you have anything ready?
Right. Yes, I would be happy to show a demo.
Okay, let me know
So
when
if
you're
you
ready
can,
to share your screen, because I think you had to leave and come back. So once you're ready, I will go ahead and add that up. Are you ready now?
I'm ready now. Please go ahead.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
let's go ahead and do that demo.
Oh,
Thank you.
great. Thanks very much. So just to give people a kind of a visual of how it works around Feature Store. So it's support. So there's people often have streaming data sources as well as batch data sources that come into Feature Store. Another component is a catalog, and this is what allows you to search features. And then what do you want to do with those features? Do you want to do inference? Some people call that prediction. And you also want to train models. So that's a key point around Feature Store, is that they have this online capability associated with the real time, as well as a training capability. Some people call that this bottom box as an offline store. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a demo. So we're going to use an online retail example here. So imagine we have customers, we have products in our online retail store, and then we have transactions that come in. So these are grocery orders, right? So the way that we're going to do this demo is we're going to partly use a notebook, a SageMaker notebook, and then we're also going to look at a Studio UI, which is a UI kind of view of Feature Store. So we'll go back and start with the notebook. So we have 100,000 grocery orders for our customers. I'm going to do some setup here just to get my notebook running. So the first thing that I want to do as part of my notebook is I want to load data sets, right? So I could stream these in, I could batch these in. I'm going to load them in this case, from a CSV file. And this is a snapshot of what my customer data looks like, for example. So I have a customer ID. I've got various attributes of that customer. Are they married or not? Event time is an important one. So this is what is this record valid as of? And then other data associated with them, age, how active they've been with
Yeah, and I
me.
see under age, only one of those values is entered. So you're actually kind of narrowing it down a little bit as well.
Right. So this is an age range. And what we've done is we've bucketed people into an age range. So this is something often data scientists will do, because you don't care whether somebody necessarily is 37 or 38. That may not make a difference for you. So if we can create categorical variables with buckets, then that's sufficient predictive power for our models.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. So we've got our customer data there. We can also look at products. So we're going to load in products data. And you can see here we have, in this case, categorized our products into baby formula, baking, food related. And these have, obviously each of these features has a type. It's either a string, it's a numeric type. And then let's add in our orders now. Okay, so we've loaded our data, but what we need to do now is create a feature group. And a feature group then is something that we're going to have in our feature store that's going to enable us to do our machine learning operations, right? So I'm going to create a feature group here, and I'll skip down a couple of cells here to the create part, right? So I'll make this a little bit bigger here, so hopefully we can see. key things about create are you want to specify obviously what field represents your customer ID. You want to also specify something, you want to specify whether your feature group is both online or offline, right? Are you going to use it for real-time stuff? Are you going to use it for batch offline stuff, right? So we create feature groups for each of those cases. Each of those data sets are customers, our products, and our transactions, you know, the actual grocery orders, okay? So we'll look at the UI and see that those have been created in a moment, but we've created the definition. Now we want to load data into the feature groups, right? So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to use the SDK. So this is the software development kit, which has a method called ingest. And what I'm doing is I'm ingesting data from my data set into the, I'm still working on actually creating the last feature group. So I'm just waiting a second for that.
So we're taking
and
this
once
data and we're creating features in the feature group within feature store. It's like featureception.
that's correct. So we're taking, we're doing a definition, and now we're
Okay.
loading data. So you can see
Okay.
we're ingesting data into the feature group, right?
Got
And
it.
this takes a few seconds. So now this is when you're actually either loading data, it could be streaming data in, or you could be loading in batch
Got it. It
fashion.
looks like it's done now. It tells you about how long it took and the overall CPU
Right,
time and everything too. So you can look into that through CloudWatch metrics, I imagine.
you can, yeah.
Okay.
And here we're looking at an example of, here's a particular customer, C3074, and this is what their, so this is what their, the record looks like in feature store. Right, so we can go to the UI now and see the feature groups that we just created. If I zoom out here a second, you can see 1 or 2 minutes ago, we created these new feature groups, including the customer one that we just talked about, right? So these are the characteristics of that feature group, right? So we've created those. I want to get to the new capabilities briefly that we've added. And the first one is around adding metadata in, right? So metadata, if you recall, is helping us in this area of discovery and reuse, right? So you can see that I don't have any description or parameters associated with this. So the data scientists who created this, for whatever reason, they haven't annotated that, right? But now we can go back into the we could do this both from the UI as well as from a notebook. So I'm going to do it from a notebook. And after my setup here, I'm going to add descriptions and metadata, right? So the idea behind the metadata, just to give a visual view of it here, is you can imagine we have this group, this group with all kinds of different features within it, right? And within the features, if we can define descriptions and key value pairs, like kind of tags, then that makes it discoverable, right? So we're going to do that through the SDK right now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add to the is married feature a description, and this can be something that's relevant to my enterprise, to my organization. And I'm going to also add a parameter to that feature, and the parameter I care about is which team created it, right? So I zoom in here. Which team created this, which is the MLOps team, and the organization they're in, which is a customer product team, right? So this update feature metadata is a new capability within Feature Store that was just launched. So we'll go in there and we will add that, right?
And that's
Um,
adding support for search as well. Is that right? So updating feature for metadata and search.
Correct, right. So now if we go back into our feature store here, you can see within is married here, we have these additional descriptions, right? So we have a description as well as these parameters. And I could also have done it from within the UI for folks who are more interested in using the UI as opposed to doing it programmatically. So I can set an additional parameter value here that I care about and then save that. So Aaron, you mentioned the search and discovery.
Yeah.
So if I go back to exploring features and I want to search on the is married, or I can do the search on is married.
Because we set all of that within the data that we had. So we were able to create these data sets and then kind of create features from the data sets. So now we can use feature stores, metadata, and search to be able to dig deeper and dive deeper into our own data.
That's right. That's right. Because often if you have a data which just has a type associated with it, that's only a limited view of what it does, right? So one of the customers that we work with is in media. They have a team in London, they have a team in San Francisco, and they use these key value pairs and these parameters as a way of adding annotations to their features, right? And so it's partly product and it's partly process around how you use those, how you define them as, ready for production, or this is a test feature, or what have you. But this capability allows for organizations to implement the processes they need to manage their features.
That's really cool. And you mentioned media and entertainment. I imagine there's probably like financial services, retail, transportation, entertainment, government, a whole lot of other
Yes,
verticals that may be able to take advantage of this feature store from Amazon SageMaker.
yeah, indeed. I think like many AWS customers, we have like a wide variety of verticals, including the ones mentioned. And I think feature stores for any customers who are looking at operationalizing their data, who are looking to actually move from having data scientists somewhat kind of off to the side and incorporating them all into machine learning operations as part of their business. Feature stores are becoming more and more important in that area. I wanted to show quickly one last thing, because another thing we mentioned that I mentioned earlier was around adding new features, so evolving schemas. So for example, we just created this feature group, as I mentioned before. I may want to say, I'm evolving my model and I'm interested in adding a feature around whether this customer has children or not. So if they have children, that can be predictive for my model. And I don't want to delete this feature group and recreate it. So I'm going to add a feature definition here, which is, has kids. So I'll add that. And I'll make it an integer. So now this feature group then, just update that. You can see that it has a new feature called has kids. Now, one key thing to understand here is that this doesn't break downstream models that are using this feature group, right? So if you have existing models and you add something to it, it doesn't break them. But what it allows is models to downstream that want to consume this feature to be able to do it. So it's a non-breaking change to a feature group.
And that's really cool. So you did a really awesome demo here, and there's a whole lot of stuff to unpack. If anyone here is watching this, you can catch it on demand as well. We'll make sure that link is in the chat. And Frank, is there anywhere where anyone can go to maybe learn more about Amazon SageMaker Feature Store?
Indeed. So a couple of places I would suggest is to go to the product pages on AWS. there's a lot of really great information on what Feature Store is. And we also have workshops with full Jupyter notebooks, similar to the ones that I showed here, for getting started. So that walks you through the kind of A to Z of machine learning with feature groups in the mix, and feature stores in the mix. So those are two
Awesome.
good places.
That's perfect. Appreciate that. And I think we have time for maybe one question. I see a question in the chat from Aditya. How would you add governance and control around Feature Store? For example, if there's a report that can be generated on a scheduled basis to review the validity of the features published in the Feature Store. And because it's covering your face, I'm going to go ahead and drop that question off the screen here, and let's bring you back up.
Yeah. So yes, governance is a very important aspect of the features and feature management. So the AWS supports fine-grained access control for features. So what that means is that one could set permissions to allow certain individuals to only see certain data. They could see only certain feature groups. They could see only certain features within those feature groups, and also only certain rows within or certain records within a feature group. So
You can get
the
pretty
fine-grained
granular
access,
with it.
yeah. So fine-grained access control is an important aspect here of feature management, as it is for all of data management. It's a key thing for AWS customers. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Frank, thank you so much for being here. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it from all of us at the On Air team. Stephanie and Brian, thanks for interpreting for us. Appreciate it. And Seema, and this has been wonderful. Thank you for everyone. Until next time, we will see you on our next On Air show. Let me go ahead and let's see if I can get this out. All right, everyone, take care.